It's Eagles. It's Panthers. It's final preview and prediction for Sunday's matchup between the Eagles and the Carolina Panthers. Will the Eagles win? Absolutely. How they get there? That's what we're going to discuss today, plus lots of other Sixers, sports, and other content, maybe even some Flyers talk today. Let's get to work, guys.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, I implore you, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. We're live on YouTube and on Twitter. Hitting those like and subscribe buttons are very, very important to growing this great channel and helping to spread the word of Trending in the AM, setting the trends for what sports talk should be. We gained 14 subscribers during the show yesterday. 14. We do that again today. We'll be on the cusp of 300. Then 500 might actually be reachable by the end of the year, guys. So please, if you've hit that like button, subscribe button already, click the share button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Even if you're watching this on replay later today, it does help. So greatly I appreciate that, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, your host every single morning here. You can find me on all social media platforms at Beard A Knowledge. And we got a jam-packed show today. Lots to cover, lots to talk about as we get set for Eagles versus Panthers Sunday. Battle of one of the best versus one of the worst teams in the NFL. All signs point to an Eagles victory on Sunday. Obviously, there's the conversation of the trap game for the Eagles, having just beat the Panthers, having the Steelers next week. We will discuss that and why it's not a trap game, why they will not fall into any trap. I think the only conversation to have is not how the Eagles win this football game, or will the Eagles win the football game, but how they win the football game, how big they win the football game. And I think there's one big key to this Eagles game on Sunday that I'm going to push a lot throughout this show, and that's health. And we'll get to that in a second. We're also going to talk Sixers a little bit today. Obviously, they got another game tonight against Orlando. No Joel Embiid. Flyers. I got a Flyers thing to talk about later in the show that I want to bring up. So remind me about that, and I want to bring up something a little on the more controversial side later in the show, and it was a new LPGA golf rule that was instituted this week, and I got to give them a round of applause for that. But we are going to start off, obviously, with the Eagles and this Panthers game this week. So whatever anybody thinks of this Eagles team, you can only play the team that's in front of you. And people think there's still people out there that don't trust or don't believe in this Eagles team. And going out there this week and beating the Carolina Panthers is not just good enough. They're going to need to go out there and whoop some Panthers' ass. This cannot be like the Chiefs 2 weeks ago, barely skating by the Panthers. This can't be like last week, going to overtime with the Panthers like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles need to go out and absolutely dominate the Panthers. But there is one massive key to this game. And the only thing I truly care about outside of the win is staying healthy, is making sure we come out the other side with a win and no injuries. You look at the Detroit Lions last night, ravaged with injuries, more injuries last night in a hard-fought victory over the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles need to start staying healthy for the stretch run, and that starts on Sunday with this game. Good morning, Duck. Hope you are well this morning. I know I'm feeling chipper this morning. So it seems like we have found the new weakness of the depleted Lions defense. They have a hard time stopping the run. I saw this comment ahead of time, and look, the yards per carry for Josh Jacobs weren't very high. They did give up a lot of rushing touchdowns, though, which bodes well for the Eagles when we eventually do face them in the NFC Championship game. Do trap games even exist for teams like the Eagles anymore? And I think that's a great comment. I think it's a great question. It depends on the team. It depends on the leadership of the team. It depends on the guys that are carrying the torch for the team. Depends on the coaching of the team. I find it very hard to imagine a team with leaders like Jalen Carter, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and then Vic Fangio and Nick Sirianni. I find it very hard to believe that a team like the Eagles wouldn't be prepared and focused no matter who the opponent is, considering it's the Panthers this week and it should be a win. Look, the Panthers are better than they've been. They're 2-2 in their last 4 games. Bryce Young has 4 touchdown passes to 1 interception over the last 4 games. He almost beat the Chiefs and the Buccaneers the last 2 weeks. They're a better team than people realize at this point. Good morning, Judd. Happy Friday to you as well, Go Birds. I'm feeling chipper. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm feeling good this morning. I don't know why. Maybe the coffee is flowing through the veins a little quicker than normal. The Lions are better than the Eagles. Maybe. If the Lions were healthy 100%, Brian, I'd agree with you. They are not healthy. They've got an injured list longer than Chris Jericho's list. We'll go that. Go Birds, Big Al. How you doing this morning? Hope you're well. Anthony, good morning to you. Dan Campbell's a joke. He got so lucky that he didn't cost them that game with all his 4th down nonsense. See, I fell asleep before the end of the game. So I don't know what happened on 4th down, but I've seen a bunch of people commenting on social media about it. Look, that's the nature of the beast in the NFL. When you're aggressive and it works, you're smart. When you're aggressive and it doesn't work, you're an idiot. I'm not going to say anything because I didn't physically watch it in the moment about Dan Campbell, but Dan Campbell is awfully similar to Nick Sirianni in the aggressive nature, in the CEO role nature. So Jalen Hurts will make the Panthers game close. Of course he will. Where were you all day yesterday when I was sticking up for Jalen Hurts, Brian? Why? Why will he make the game close? Like, the Panthers stink. But you think Jalen Hurts stinks. So I probably just set you up for that. If you win your division, you get home playoff game. I don't want just one home playoff game. I want all the playoff games to be at home. Man, Chatter. That means winning the number 1 seat. Now, beating the Packers last night, the Lions made their job at getting that number 1 seat a lot easier because now they'll have the conference tiebreaker over the Eagles at this point. I'm not late. I'm on time. You said that. Yeah. I did accidentally set this show up to go live yesterday at 1:55, but thanks to Mitchie Poo caught it and sent me a message, and I fixed that. Could Vikings be first team to go 14 wins and be a wild card? Has that never happened before? It's possible. There are a couple teams that got pretty good records that aren't going to win their division this year. Campbell always goes for it like the Eagles. Yeah, exactly. Right away, you're saying 37-17. Actually, it's one of the 4 scores I wrote down, Matt Chatter. Are you looking at my notebook? He's always Stop. Panthers are better than they have been, but not that good. Well, and I get it. I'm not trying to say that the Panthers are a good team. They're just playing better. Bryce Young's finally looks like maybe the game has slightly slowed down for them. They kept Chiefs on their heels that have been struggling. They struggled against the Raiders. Eagles will be a dose of reality. And I think so, Big Al. I don't think this game is going to come out and be played in a way that the Eagles, are a little lackadaisical and let the Panthers believe that they've got a chance. I think the Eagles come out and stomp them. I hinted at this a little bit yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit now. I really feel that the first quarter struggles of this Eagles team, offensively speaking, can be solved very, very simply. And that is go up tempo right from the start of the game. Panthers win the coin toss, defer to us, go up tempo from play 1. We kick off to them, then get the ball back after we get a 3 and out, kick it into high gear instantly with some up-tempo football. The best way to solve a team's struggles offensively is to go up-tempo. So I want to see the Eagles consider ditching the scripted plays and just coming right out, go up-tempo, get a quick score in 3 minutes and 27 seconds, and just rip the hearts out right away. That's how you do it. Lions D-line looked fine and so hungry. The Lions are a well-coached team. We had a great day, K1, with the subs yesterday. We gained 14 subscribers yesterday. Let's see if we can get 14 more today. Get us to 295. Hell, let's go for 19 today and get to 300 today. Let's go. That's liking it, that's subscribing, and that's clicking that share button, guys, on every social media platform. Bryce has worked his way up to average. I don't know if I'd call Bryce Young average yet. Just getting better. That's all. He's still, I got his game-by-game log. He was 26 of 46 against the Bucs for 298. That's a 56% completion. He had one touchdown. That was fine. Against the Chiefs, he was 21 of 35. His win against the Giants, he was only 15 of 25 for 126. And the Saints, he was 16 of 26. So he's still not good or average, but he's making improvements. Easy layup for the Eagles. His screen and runs. Absolutely agree. The Panthers don't have the tools to stop Barkley runs, which is the base of our offense. Absolutely. Giving up 166.8. I have to go back a page here. 166.8 yards per game on the ground. Saquon might get 100 yards by halftime. Saquon might be on the bench by the mid-third quarter and not need. I would love to see Kenny Gainwell get 12, 14 carries this game because we just don't need Saquon Barkley to tote the rubber or the pigskin that frequently in the game. Chat, Jim, just go check. Great episode this week with Jason Lee, my man. I think the Eagles win by double digits Sunday. Probably cover that. I think it's more a question of how much do they cover the spread by. I've written down 4 scores. I always write down 4 scores that could be the result. All 4 of the scores I wrote down, Chet, have the Eagles covering the spread. It's just how much do I want them to cover the spread by. I think this Eagles team is so disciplined, and their leaders are so in tune with the locker room that there's no way that this game becomes a 30-27 slugfest or a 24-21, got to kick a winning field goal type game. The leaders will not allow that to happen. Up-tempo to start the game is usually it's still somewhat scripted, but script the up-tempo start. Don't come out with these sluggish first drives where you're doing 7-step drops trying to hit the big boom play to A.J. Brown on the second play of the game. Come out, up-tempo, bing, bang, boom. Dissect that defense, have them on their heels from second one. And then you can settle into a more methodical. And up-tempo doesn't mean you don't run the football. Up-tempo still means you run the football. You keep pushing that defensive line backwards. Issue with Bryce, weak pass, not sure what he could do to have stronger passes. Honestly, I won't lie, man, Chatter. When I'm talking about Bryce Young, all I'm doing is box score analyst. I'm a box score analyst when it comes to Bryce Young. I'm just looking at the box scores. I've watched probably 3 minutes of Bryce Young footage in my entire life. So I don't actually know what kind of quarterback he really is. Saquon first play of the game, 75. Sure, there's an up-tempo start for you, Joe. There's an up-tempo start. Love it. Would love to see that. Set the tone right away. Just like that. Duck jumping in right away, 33-13. I don't have that written down as one of my 4 scores. But I do have one of the scores with 13 points in it, and I do have a 20-point win as one of my score predictions. We'll get into my predictions later in the show for sure. K1 says, did Phil just call for Kenny Gainwell to tote the rubber? I did. Because if Kenny Gainwell is running the football a large amount, that means this game is playing out exactly how as I hope and how I want this game to play out. And that is in dominating fashion. I want to see it halfway through the third quarter be like 30-0, 28-0, and we just shut them all down. I want to see Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Carter, most of the offensive line, if not all of the offensive line, all take a seat for the fourth quarter. I want to see Kenny Gainwell with 12 carries. I want to see Kenny Pickett get 3 or 4 drives on the field. I want to see this Eagles team put this game away quickly and early, because the number one key to me in this game, still, number one key is health. Coming out the other side of this game with no more injuries. I saw my man Jason live tweeting the Lions game last night because he's a Lions fan. And it was just like an uh-oh, because I guess somebody else got hurt on the Lions, and I don't know how serious it was. every game it seems like there's 2 or 3 Lions getting hurt, and that laundry list of injured players keeps getting longer and longer. The Eagles are getting healthy right now. Devontae Smith should be back. It seems like Darius Slay will be back. Britton Covey might be okay to go. The only injury that's a real concern right now on the Eagles is Dallas Goedert. And honestly, we can survive like that one. But I don't want to see anybody on the offensive line get hurt. I don't want to see Saquon Barkley get dinged up. I don't want to see any of those things happen. So the number one goal of the game is health for me. Health, and more health. Walk on undrafted Jalen Cooker, the wide receiver, scheduled to return. Super good. Bryce Young has gotten better just from the NFL highlights they released on YouTube. Would they release bad ones, though? I want Barkley get his 130 by the end of the third and set. Absolutely. You want him to get 130. Okay. Good morning, Eric. The show can officially begin because Eric is in the house. That's when I should replay the intro. Tulip, tulip. Eric's here. The show can begin. The Eagles will simply dominate in the trenches. The rest of the team will sleepwalk through this. Second string I'm hoping by the beginning of the fourth quarter, if not sooner, Big Al, because again, dominate this game, put it out of reach early, and stay healthy. I cannot stress enough how much I want the Eagles to come out of this game healthy. Phil has a prop bet on Johnny Wilson multiple touchdowns. I don't. I do not. But maybe I'll lay a Kenny Gainwell touchdown prop for this game. I'll have to see. We'll see if I have to work on Sunday. Maybe I'll do a pregame show. It depends on if I have to work on Sunday or not before the game. I might have to. Waiting on a big order maybe to come in. But if I don't have to work on Sunday, I'll do a pregame show. And in said pregame show, like I did last week, I'll make live bets on the air. Last week's bets live on the air did not hit. Yeah, that's right. Hit my music. I'm back. That music was heard this week for the first time. But so how do the Eagles get there? How do they dominate? And Big Al's saying they dominate the trenches. Let me page back here through my notes here for a second. The Panthers' defense is pretty bad. The Panthers' defense gives up a lot. The Panthers' offense is not very good either. The one thing the Panthers do adequately is run the football with Chuba Hubbard. So if there's anything that we need to figure out how to stop, it's not Bryce Young. It's their running attack, Chuba Hubbard, who's got over 900 yards this year. He's got 7 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 5 yards a carry. That is the number one thing that we got to figure out. There's another thing, and I'm just looking at my notes, and it just made me think of something. Phil has pro takes, but not pro equipment. He has no soundboard. I have a soundboard, but I'm afraid to touch the buttons because if I touch them, it might break something. I don't know what these buttons do. I should probably sit here and learn what these buttons do because there are sound effects, and I would love to use them. It's Cuba Hubbard. No, it's Chuba Hubbard. It's Chuba Hubbard. It's Cuba Hubbard. It's always Chuba, Hubbard to me. Cuba, Chuba, even. No, it's Chuba Hubbard. I was sitting there going through social media yesterday, and one of my notes here just made me think of it. Let me get back to this page here. About the Panthers. And let me pull this up on Twitter here, just so I get this right. My man, Jadeveon Clowney, out there in the locker room criticizing Eagles fans. They shout nasty things. They're mean. Blah, 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 blah. Calling us dirty fans. Hey, if Philadelphia Eagles fans and players didn't need any reason to get motivated, well, Jadeveon Clowney just gave it to them, calling us out for being awful people and being dirty people. Well, Jadeveon Clowney, you best look your ass in the mirror because you single-handedly ruined Carson Wentz's career by hitting a cheap shot on him in 2019, January 2019, literally ruining Carson Wentz's career. And it pisses me off that Jadeveon Clowney's out there trash-talking Eagles fans for being dirty fans, rude fans, when you're one of the dirtiest players in the game. And not the Ric Flair cool fun way. Not the lie, cheat, and steal Eddie Guerrero way. You are a dirty player. And you're calling us dirty fans. Seriously? Did you forget what you did in 2019 to the Eagles and our team, to our quarterback? It literally, like, hey, like, calling out the fans 2 days before a few games before the game, it's just going to rile the fans up even more. Should have probably waited until after the game to call us out, because those Eagles fans are going to be louder and louder and louder than ever before. We're at home this week, so yeah. It's even worse. You're going to have 70,000 people booing you and shouting things at you because you had to open your dumb mouth when you are the dumbass dirty player. If we could stop Henry, we could stop the Chubb. There's a dirty joke mixed in there somewhere. Lucky for us, Phil has a singing voice of an angel. I don't know about that. Back in the day, maybe, but not anymore. Yeah, I got a battery with your name on it, pal. Calling out the battery JD Drew game. I was at the JD Drew battery game, just so you know. I was not one of the ones throwing the fallen angel, maybe. Yeah. I'm definitely not the singing voice of an angel. Not anymore. We don't forget clowns. We don't. And if anybody did forget, he reminded everybody very quickly. Yeah, I don't know if that was a hot take or a rant or a VCP rant, but let me tell you something. Jadeveon Clowney is public enemy. I need to see Mekhi Becton and Jordan Mailata just pancake the living hell out of him and just knock him on his ass. Lane Johnson was here in 2019. Mailata wasn't a starter yet. I think that was at his rookie year. So he might have been here then. It's pretty much it on this team that was here back then in 2019. Somebody's going to pancake that man's ass for sure. Who cares about Miles Sanders? I'll never forget the Dallas fan yelled in my face that day, Wentz is injured. Your season is over. Yeah, not only was our season over there, like Carson Wentz's career literally was ended right there in de facto way. Chiefs and Bucks shut down Hubbard. Yeah, you can shut him down. Clowney has forgotten the crap he pulls, just like Ray Lewis forgot. I walked myself right into that comment right there. Duck, yes, but it is kind of funny. Step up, internet work, Phil calling them out. That's right. I'll call out anybody that deserves to be called out, including you if I have to. VCP tells it like it is. That's right. I don't know which nickname you want to call me on this one. But, like, why would you add fuel to the fire? Like, really? Why? Why would you add fuel to the fire? It makes no sense. Like, I don't get why they would do that. Why would he want a target on his back in Philadelphia? Loom at Buck's schedule, or look at Buck's schedule. It's toughest in NFL, I guess. Jonathan Brooks playing better. Like, I don't understand what the Panthers front office is doing. You draft Jonathan Brooks, then you pay Chuba Hubbard after you've already paid Miles Sanders. Like, I know we're turning into a running football league, but the Panthers are committing 67% of their salary cap to running backs, it seems like. I don't understand what's going on there with that. Phil, hook up soundboard. I have the soundboard hooked up. That's what this runs through. I just don't know how to work it. So, what are you doing, Marshawn? What are you doing? Why would you promote another show like that? The enemy. Okay? What are you doing here? What is wrong with you? Are you trying to get a ban? What's wrong with you? I will tell you this. Based off of the subscriber numbers that they have and the subscriber numbers I have, I think percentage-wise, I do better numbers than them. Plus, of course, I put out better content. They don't care about what you have to say, Marshawn. I do. Panthers got offered 2 firsts for Burns by Rams and turned it down. Yeah, that was a stupid story. Clowney is an idiot who just wants to put his name out there in the media ahead of his team because his name means nothing anymore. His name has always meant one thing: dirty player. Outside of his hit in college that got him drafted, he's been an overhyped dirty player since day one. Clifton Heights' own Danny Morgan is the GM for the Panthers. The Panthers GM is from Clifton Heights, Big Al? Who knew? Who knew? He obviously didn't go to Holy Cross, Nobody from Holy Cross is ever that successful, right? So how many more subs does John Mark? I don't know. I think their channel has something like 28,000 subs, and they get, at the end of a show, they have like 250, 300 views. Then they get a lot of replay views. Me, yesterday, at the end of the show with my 281, I had like 97 views at the end of the show. So this is the channel. It's about percentage of subs that shows how much quality work you put in, because everybody is tuning in that subs on a regular basis. Then shortly, a fifth. Yeah, look, the Brian Burns situation was handled poorly by the Panthers last year to this year. Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder about you, Marshawn. Sometimes I wonder about you. John Marks, yeah, good, go. We don't want you here anyway. Deuces. Peace out. All right? I bet you he won't mispronounce anyone's name like me. Clowney is a bust. Bust maybe, yeah, sure. Dirty player, absolutely. Idiot, 100%. And I can't wait to see Jordan Mailata lay that man on his ass on Sunday. Most likely the guy who will crunch Hurts is DJ Woon. Jalen Hurts ain't going to get hit. We need to protect Jalen Hurts. Again, number one key isn't proven to Emmanuel Acho that he can throw the ball more than 19 times. It's not proving to people like the pump man that Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. The goal on Sunday is to win big, and come out healthy. That's it. Dan Morgan, Phil, do you watch rosters? I watch the Eagles roster. That's it. TMC, yeah, you guys are psycho. He was drafted number one. Was he number? I know he's a top pick. I don't remember if it was number one overall. All I remember is that whole entire draft year, they just kept replaying that one play where he blew up the guy in the backfield. He was Texas A&M, right? He was an Aggie, right? That he just got a lot of hype from one play, basically. Nobody can pronounce Bazudenhoot as well as I can. What you got to do, K1, is you got to go around and get like an audio clip of every content creator out there saying his name, and then mix mash it all together, and then have me at the end say it's Christian Bazudenhoot, and then that's it. That would be high quality entertainment right there. Hurts will get hit because he holds onto the ball too long. He holds onto it too long, then you say he doesn't hold on to it. Then he doesn't hold on to it long enough and go through his progressions. Jalen Hurts holds onto the ball just fine. I am not concerned with the amount of time Hurts holds onto it or doesn't hold on to it. As long as we're winning, as long as he's getting the ball to the right receivers, as long as he's not turning the football over, all I want is him to not take bad hits. I want refs to call helmet shots against him. All of that. Protect the man. Acho played and Texas and was employed by the Cowboys. I think that might be part of it, that he was a Cowboys guy. I mean, didn't Acho play for the Eagles too? Or is that his brother that played for the Eagles? I'm not a big PFF guy, but Mailata the highest rated. Yeah, see, the thing is with PFF, it's hard to trust PFF. It's great when it supports your narrative, Nooms. But then you look at it, like last week, Shane Half shows the PFF grades of every Eagles player every week. Saquon Barkley last week was like the third lowest rated Eagle total in the game for the game against the Ravens. I'm pretty sure he wasn't the worst player on the field for the Eagles, but he was rated at the bottom like 3 or 4 or something like that. Who else? Jalen Carter, I think, was the second worst defender, according to PFF last week, for the Eagles in that game. It just goes to show that their stats are flawed. They're great to support a narrative sometimes, but I don't know how they come up with their numbers and their stats. Clowney was a Gamecock. Oh, okay, he was a game. So he was that's South Carolina, right? Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I knew it was one of those. I think they have the same. pretty similar color schemes, right? I'm thinking of the color scheme, and I'm trying to figure it out that way. Yeah, he was. Yeah. You're trying. Make Phil say especially, or watch when he says what especially. I know I say it wrong. You know what? John Marks will block you if you criticize his pronunciations of words. Me, I encourage you to call me out for my pronunciations, okay? Just so you know. Herschel also moves in the pocket really well. He does actually do that better than people realize. You can say whatever nice things you want to say. Emmanuel Ocho played for the Birds. Yeah, it doesn't have I knew one of the Ochos played for the Eagles. I wasn't sure which one. The lesser Ocho. Well, look, Ocho's an idiot. And I spent a lot of time bitching and moaning about him yesterday. Okay. Ocho played for the Eagles. We won his brother, but got him. How many times did we get the brother? We didn't get Clay Matthews. We got Casey Matthews. We didn't. Wasn't there an offensive lineman named Andrews? And we got the brother, not the really good one. Like, we've gotten the brother multiple times in Eagles. Probably we got the wrong Giambi in Philadelphia with the Phillies. I'm trying to think of all the wrong brothers that we got in sports in Philadelphia over the years. Can't think of any basketball players that we got the brother of instead of the star player. But yeah, there's quite a few, honestly. The Cards got Macho Acho. I got to write this down. Brothers of stars in Philly. I think that's an interesting conversation right there. DJ Woonham was a Gamecock, okay? What's a good hangover pizza? Any pizza is a good hangover. A greasy pizza. So I mean extra pepperoni, extra cheese, bacon, all the greasy meats. Because when you're hungover, you want the grease to soak up all the alcohol. So a greasy pizza would be the best hangover pizza. Especially Phil, make it sound like a fancy Italian. It's like when I watch Gordon Ramsay cooking, and instead of saying oregano, he says oregano. Put a little oregano on that there. Just say it like the way it is. Oregano. Clowney left the mark on Michigan with that iconic tackle. I guarantee everyone on here has seen that play at least 100 times. Brian roll. I forgot about the rolls. I'm writing them down. Matthews, Giambi, Acho. I got to start a list of this here because this is something that's pretty funny. The amount of what was that wide receiver we got? We thought was going to be good. Didn't he have a brother? In Latin, it'd be Acho, the less or secundo. I don't remember my Latin. I remember OST, musticenti, the endings of words. I remember Puella. I don't remember any other Latin for some reason. What does Saquon Barkley need to do to solidify his spot in the NFL Hall of Fame? Presently, he has 6,700 career rushing yards and 46 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley in the Hall of Fame, mister. First and foremost, getting the record, the Eric Dickerson record, which isn't important. It's not important, but getting that record would help. Winning a Super Bowl would help. Winning an MVP or a Super Bowl MVP would help. 2 years, like if he does what he's doing this year again next year, that will help. I think it's too soon to really judge this question for now. Was Mike Maddox actually Greg Maddox's brother? I'm writing these names down. I'm writing them all down. This is going to be a Twitter thread later for sure. Albert King. I don't even know who Albert King is off the top of my head. We got both Andrews brothers. I think they were both. Oh, I remember getting one of the brothers and being the lesser. Wasn't one of them dealing with mental issues as well? This is an ouch comment right here. Jason Kelsey, because T Swift made the Chiefs 300. Yeah, did we get the lesser of the Kelsey brothers? That's an interesting one right there. Brian Roll was so bad. We did get the right Nola. That is true. That's a good one. That right there. A good hangover pizza has at least 4 meats. You got to have the greasiest of meats possible if you want to get over a hangover. For sure with pizza. Compare Eagles with one hard team Ravens to Bucs schedule. Fred, meat lover it is. Pause. I hate ham, so most meat lovers have ham, so I got to get it without the ham. Is it basil or buzz? It's basil. It's basil. Basil. You're supposed to eat the pizza before you start drinking the soda. That is true. I like a good plate of spaghetti before I'm drinking. A lot. I need to make a call, but I left my chance. I left my chance on the blanket. What? Vince DiMaggio. Wow. You're going deep here, Ken Brett. Is that George Brett's? Man, Nooms is going deep into the analogs of Philly history here for some of these names right here. I had pizza before, too. I could really use pizza right now. Marshawn, party a little too hard. Tim Morrill. You are really digging deep. Cold pizza is good stuff. It's unnecessary, though, cold pizza. Like, I don't need to eat cold pizza. Just pop it in and warm it up real quick. Mark Leiter, that's right. We got Kyle. Here's one for you, Nooms. Kyle Abbott. There's one. Kyle Abbott's one for you. If you want to go to bad pitchers right there. Kyle Abbott. The Eagles had the chance to draft Travis Kelce. We chose Ertz. Would you change that decision if you had a chance? That is an interesting question. That's interesting, man. Do we win the Super Bowl in 17? The whole history of the Philadelphia Eagles changes with that right there. It really does. The whole history changes right there with that one decision. I don't know. Yeah, I think Nooms knows some of these off the top of his head. I ain't going to lie. Look, there are a lot of people watching, a lot of new people in the YouTube room right now. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button. If you've done both of those things, please hit the share button. Please, I ask you all to do that. I'd greatly appreciate it. A lot of people, there's over 25 people watching on YouTube right now. Like, subscribe, share, and even though there's just a few people commenting, if you're watching, we're talking Eagles. We're talking Panthers, preview and predictions. Drop your comments. You know, it's not just the core 12 that's allowed to comment. Everybody's allowed to comment. I appreciate all of your opinions. Please, guys, do that. We do this every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. We got the right pick. I forgot that he had a brother, honestly. Ask that question. Okay. Ertz, Kelce draft. Ertz, Kelce draft. I'm just going to write that down. I'll try to remember to get that out there this weekend on social media, Marshawn. All brain, yeah. Nooms, for some reason, that big, beautiful, balding head of yours in that picture, I kind of feel like, yeah, you know, you got a lot of unnecessary information up there. Good morning, Stevie Fuentes. How are you? Great stuff going on over there at Steampunk with you guys. I wouldn't change that because you don't know how that changes out playoff and Super Bowl wins. Ertz was integral. Absolutely. We might have more Super Bowls. We might have less. I don't know. Heard the brother question about 100 times. Have you? I've never discussed this before. This is the first time. The Kyle Abbott one always gets me because Kyle Abbott was in 1991 or 1992, 1-14 for the Phillies that year. And the Phillies were awful that year. I think it was 91. And we only ever went to Phillies games, Nooms, on Sundays because they were the cheap games. You get the upper deck tickets, etc. We were big Sundays. We went to a fireworks game in July one year on a Saturday night. It was a big deal for my dad to take us to a fireworks game and a bigger, busier game. And Kyle Abbott got his one win of the year that night. He gave up 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings that night. It was against the Dodgers, but the place went nuts when he came out of the game with the lead, and the Phillies went on to win that game. It's just one of those random childhood memories I have that will stick with me forever. He had a couple brothers, all of them knuckleheads. I know the one that was also a quarterback at, was it Virginia Tech or whatever? Never made anything of himself, though, in the NFL, and he was a bad child as well. It's tough. An average tight end who aged fast or probably the second best tight end in NFL history. Is Travis Kelce the best tight end in NFL history? If not, who is? Tony Gonzalez? Is it Travis Kelce? Is it, there's a couple greats in the last 20 years. Who's the greatest tight end in NFL history right now? Cold pizza is good if it's not dry. If it is, it's like eating, hardened cheese stick. Absolutely. You know, obviously, a microwave is an easy way to warm it up really quickly. And it's obviously an easy way to warm it up. The best way to warm up a slice of pizza is put it in a frying pan with a drop or two of water and cover it up. That gets the bottom crisp and the top nice and soft and gooey again. That is the way you're supposed to warm up your cold pizza, but it takes a few moments. We had BJ Soroff's brother. That I would have to Google. Okay. Is Gronk the best tight end in football? Are we sure about that in the history? I mean, he's damn great. Damn great. But is he? He's definitely top 3. I think it's Gronk, Gonzalez, and Kelsey in some order. I don't think it's as easy as you guys say it is. Is it really that easy? Gronk? Travis, top 10 for me. The GOAT is, everyone's saying Gronk is 100% no doubt the best tight end. Interesting. I really got to think about that. Because Gronk had Brady. Tony Gonzalez, who did he have throughout his career? I don't know. We did have both Shen brothers. That's more recency knowledge with the Flyers. Luke Shen, and it was Luke and can't remember the Shen's first names. I'm trying to remember them there. Go to the emergency room and tell the nurse you want an IV. Gronk by a lot. That would drag a team on his back. I'm trying to think about that one. I really am. Antonio Gates deserves some love. I was thinking of who I was thinking of the Chargers. I was like, which one was the Chargers guy? Antonio Gates definitely deserves some love. He was pretty good. Braden was the other one. That's right. Braden Shen and Luke Shen. That's right. I'm trying to get Flyers. I got a Flyers thing for you guys that I want to bring up. Okay. Braden Shen has come a long way. Still playing. It's interesting. I love when we get flashbacks. So yeah, absolutely. So do I. I love it. I get them a lot during the holiday season, Rick. I really do. So, I'll bring up a Flyers thing here. Yesterday, I was paging through Twitter, doing my typical thing, and Darren DiCatano, great follow on Twitter. He's done a lot of work with Mike Missinelli, sports guy. Love the guy. He's always great to interact with on social media. He put out a tweet about going to the Flyers game the other day and walking out of the Flyers game. His son or his daughter, he just said 12-year-old. So she said, okay, so his daughter, 12-year-old daughter, walking out of the Flyers game, looked at her dad and said, Darren, and said, I want a Matvei Michkov jersey. And he said that, the tweet says that there was just a big grin over his face because he'd already ordered one for her Christmas present. But that made me think, Matvei Michkov is going to inspire an entirely new generation of Flyers fans. He's going to reinvigorate a lot of our Flyers love, but he single-handedly is going to create an entire nation of Flyers hockey fans. Just because the youth of today are going to want to be Flyers fans. The youth of today are going to want to learn to play hockey, all because Matvei Michkov is that damn good. And I love it. I love it. Chad Lewis. Don't be knocking Chad Lewis. I was a big Chad Lewis guy. I was watching, somebody shared Bobby Hoying highlights the other day on Twitter. And one of the Bobby Hoying highlights was a touchdown pass to Chad Lewis. And I'm like, there's the boy, Chad Lewis, for sure. Greatest NFL player, Whip played collegiate basketball. Julius Peppers. I don't know. Who? Hi? Who? Who played collegiate basketball? Gotcha. I understood what you meant. Good morning, Bruce Bryce Harper. Hope you are well this morning. Glad to have you here today. I turned on the Flyers game, and they got scored on in that moment. So hopefully you turned it right back off. Were you the bad luck? They did lose last night, didn't they? It was 6-5 the last I saw. Michkov was so good last night. Sucks that they couldn't pull out the comeback. Yeah, but it's just going to show, man. Matvei Michkov is literally making the Flyers organization not just relevant in the NHL, but relevant in Philadelphia again. Let's just hope Michkov wasn't involved in going choo-choo. Yeah, let's just hope he keeps his head himself clean right there. I love Chad Lewis. Lewis-Ertz combo was one of the best. Was Lewis part of Ertz? I thought it went Chad Lewis to Brent Selleck to Zach Ertz. We're all three here together. But Chad Lewis was great. And then he got, in the McNabb Super Bowl year, didn't he have an injury that year? I met Chad Lewis at TGI Fridays years ago. Was he the busser, or was he the host, or was he the barback at that one, Mitchie Poo? What's up, Mitchie Poo? My man, Mitchie Poo. Have we passed the 280? We were at 281 to start, Mitchie Poo. How many likes and how many subscribers are we at right now? Have we gained any momentum on today's show? Yesterday was Thriving Thursday on the STT Sports Network. 14 new subscribers. Guys, if you're watching, please hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. It means a lot. But did we gain any today, Mitchie Poo? Let's see. Phil, I feel the Flyers have good players, but I feel Torts is not a good coach. I feel Torts has been a good coach at times. Is Torts the right coach for this youthful Flyers team? I don't know the answer to that, Bruce. I have not watched enough hockey in the last 2 or 3 years to really know. I do know there's a lot of Flyers fans that aren't happy with the way John Tortorella coaches this team. But is he a good coach? He was at least at one point. Is he now? I don't know. But we're going to at least see it through to the end of the year before we decide that. Phil, you are right. I was thinking Selleck. Yeah, I thought it was Chad Lewis. We've always gone, the Eagles organization, I think it's underrated or under talked about how they always have a plan at tight end. They always have a tight end. They get their tight end 2, and then that tight end goes off, and tight end 2 becomes tight end 1. It went Chad Lewis to Brent Selleck. Then when Chad Lewis was done, Brent Selleck become 1. Then you bring in Ertz. Then when Selleck kind of slid to the background, Ertz became it. And then when Selleck was gone, you had Dallas Goedert. Now, Dallas Goedert, you got Grant Calcaterra here now. You've always got that two-headed monster, one a little older than other, at tight end with the Eagles. Selleck, Ertz, Burton may never be matched again. Burton did so much great, for sure. Do you feel the player who hurt Lawrence should be suspended more than 3 games? That's an interesting question. I know he appealed the suspension and it was upheld. A 3-game, I think his history of dirty plays, maybe yes. I think there is not enough. How do I say this the right way, Bruce? Like, the punishment and penalties for certain things in the NFL is very clearly defined. But for stuff like this, it's not clearly defined what each penalty should be the first time, the second time, the third time. How dangerous. It's so subjective to whoever's making the disciplinary ruling. And I think that's the problem. I think they need more clearly defined punishments for this. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, will even ever play. He probably won't play the rest of this year. They put him on IR. He's probably done. But once you get hit like that one time and get concussed one time like that, the likelihood of it happening again and again and again, look at Tua, is the case. Should he have been suspended more than 3 games? Maybe. But that's not for me to decide. What I want is the NFL to have a more disciplined, more finite set of rules for these circumstances. Don McNabb is the greatest football player to play college basketball. He was a good basketball player. So, yeah. We gained 1 today so far. We gained 14 subscribers, 10 during the show. We've only gained 1 today. Come on, people. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go. The more we get, the better. Lindy Ruff, the best. Phil, I feel the Flyers have a lot of good players, but the Flyers are not organized. I think that also comes into play, Bruce, with the fact that the Flyers are still in the middle of their rebuild. According to Danny Briere and Chris Jones, this is not the year that they're supposed to contend. They're still trying to figure out the right pieces. Instead of, Danny Briere and Jonesy speeding up the process, which they could. They should. Selleck team mid. Get the fook out of here. Who invited you? There's a lot of underachieving mediocrity on this team that Torts is getting blood from. At the same time, there are Tyson Forsters that get put all over the place and can't thrive. I saw somebody else comment something similar to that on another thread the other day. Emery, what? Phil, I feel if someone did that to Hurts, I would say he should be suspended for a year or more. And that's true. That is true, Bruce, for sure. Alshier, 3-game suspension was the correct number. It's enough to get the point across. It's just what was the precedent for it to be 3 games, not 2, not 4? What was he suspended before for this or not? Like, I don't think there's finite rules on suspensions for dirty hits. Just can't get into hockey. Let's talk golf. LOL. Justin Thomas, 2000. Look, I got an outright on Justin Thomas at the Hero, and he's in second place, 2 shots back. Just so you know, Steve, my last outright of 2024 could come this week. I'm ready. I'm ready for season 5 of Fairway to Heaven to begin in early January. Razor's prime was before the Flyers. And you want to talk golf. All right, I'm going to just drop this in here. And I know you guys love things like this to talk about, not golf specific. But this is something that in theory could be controversial, but it shouldn't be. The LPGA Tour, okay, the Women's Professional Golf League, made a ruling on a very controversial subject. For those that don't know, there's a transgender person trying to qualify for the LPGA Tour. Born male at birth. I think he actually did qualify for the LPGA Tour. They instituted a rule this week that the LPGA Tour will only allow players on tour that were assigned female at birth to make it fair for all the women that are on the tour. And I applaud them for it. I do. I really do. I'm all for equal rights for everybody. But there's no scenario where a male at birth that's become a woman, if that's your choice, that's great. I fully support that. But you shouldn't be playing on the women's tour. Because clearly there's a disadvantage there for the rest of the women. So I will applaud them for that. I think it's a great thing. And, yeah, there you go. The Flyers' problem is the defense struggles so much to clear the puck from their own zone. Once they get that figured out, they will be a good team. Hockey is golf on fast forward. Catch the Flyer. Catch the Flyer. Is that what we're calling it? Flyers fever? It's the Mitchkov fever. But that becomes the precedent. The Sandman got into hockey. Everybody's getting into hockey right now. Skip Payless hot take. It's not a hot take in my opinion. I think it's a clear take. I think it's the only take that there should be personally. But again, everyone's open to opinion. I so thought Phil was going to take the what? Let's not get into what my agendas are or what my takes are. Look, it's plain and simple. The LPGA did right by saying you had to be assigned female at birth, in my opinion. Again, I am a huge supporter of all equal rights for everybody. But in certain scenarios, it just makes sense, right? At some point, there needs to be 2 pay scales in sports, healthy payroll and injured payroll. That would end a lot of the problems. It's interesting. Interesting take. Guys, again, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network, live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30. Guys, it is Eagles. It is Panthers. It's a bigger game than we realize because we need to be able, let's kind of bring it back to the Eagles. I will touch on the Sixers in a little bit here. Joel Embiid obviously not playing again tonight. Again, big surprise, big whoop. Actually, no. You know what? Something just popped into my head about the Sixers, and I got to say it. Keith Pompey, love the guy. Does great work, obviously. Probably the most important beat reporter covering the Sixers right now. Put out a tweet yesterday, midday, that Joel Embiid is about to eliminate himself from the ability to win any season awards like MVP or All-Pro or Defensive Player of the Year. And I just thought to myself, and I quote tweeted this and said it, and it got an interesting responses. Like, is that what we're really thinking about? Like, do we even care that Joel Embiid isn't going to be eligible for MVP this year anymore? Like, that is the least thing on my mind as a Sixers fan right now. The least thing on my mind is him qualifying for Defensive Player of the Year or MVP or any of it. Like, I could care less. Now, I know he had it was an important thing to put out there. It's a piece of news. But, like, that's the least important thing in my mind right now. I don't have a problem with post-op transgender using ladies' bathrooms and other services, but sports are different. Exactly. Sports are just different with that. Like boxing, could you imagine? Take the Panthers and the points. Vegas fixing to get greedy again. I am not taking the Panthers and the points. No way. No way. The Eagles are winning by 2 touchdowns at a minimum on Sunday, Freddie. At a minimum. that dude would have gotten to the green faster than every woman hitting from the front. Exactly. And that person dominated the qualifying tournaments to get the eligibility to be on the LPGA. That person also was not good enough to qualify on the PGA or even the Corn Ferry Tour. And that's a shame. Joe recorded a new album, Get Rich and Stop Trying. I like that. You got a why, you a guy. We talked about George Carlin a little bit yesterday. I wonder what George Carlin would have to say about that. Embiid hasn't played enough to get paid, nonetheless MVP. Exactly. Philadelphia City should reject the new stadium on the crap play alone. Yeah, absolutely. Like literally $2. I mean, it'll probably be a little bit more than $2 tonight because it is a Friday night, and it's still a thing to take your family down to the Wells Fargo Center for a basketball game. But Wednesday night, the tickets to the Sixers game were $2. I think the city of Philadelphia is excited about the product the Sixers are putting out there. No, not at all. Not even in the least bit. And it just, Nick Nurse tried to tease the fans a little bit this week. Was it Wednesday after the game or Thursday? He said, maybe it was Tuesday. He might play. Maybe he'll play on Friday. They will have no intentions of playing on Friday. They did, Nooms, take the personal reasons off of his injury report. Now it's just left knee injury maintenance, and that's it. But, everybody keeps saying, will he play 30 games or 25 games or 40 games this year? I'm just curious if he's going to play a game this year. 2024/2025 Joel Embiid is literally no different than 2012-2013 Andrew Bynum, except he's played 4 games. That's it. He's literally the Andrew Bynum. Is he going to play or not play? Yes or no? Every single game, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a no. I have actively chosen not to put the Sixers game on, except for the last 2 minutes here or there when I'm, just background noise, for literally 2 weeks now. I have not sat down and watched an entire Sixers game probably in 2 weeks. So I could care less about them right now. Only thing Embiid worried about is which restaurant in his house he wants to get breakfast. Joe needs to get the Lonzo transplant. He needs to do something. Maybe he needs to go go find Kobe Bryant. Went to Germany or something like that to get something special done. He needs to do that. Or take a private jet, elevator, stairs. They will announce he is shut down after deposits for next year's season tickets come through. I don't know when that is, but probably. There's no reason why. Honestly, I would be more excited for the Sixers season if they just said, shut it down. Who wants to go bowling with Chojo? I bet you Joe's knees are fine to go bowling in, Nooms. I'm sure his knees are just fine for that. So over the Joel Embiid thing. I want to get back to talking Eagles because of that. We won't be able to get enough tax revenue from the new stadium to make up for putting out hundreds of millions so a billionaire could get in. Look. I am. You want to get a political take from me? You guys always want political takes from me. Anybody that gives tax dollars to build a stadium for billionaires should be voted out of office. Plain and simple. You got billionaires that use city funds to build stadiums when all they got to do is open up their checkbook and do it themselves. That's the one thing. The one thing, and this, I might be totally wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on this take. The one thing that I agree with or like about Jerry Jones, owner, GM of the Dallas Cowboys, he did not take one tax penny to build that gigantic, enormous, ugly-ass stadium, Jerry's World, down in Dallas. That was all out of his pocket. He owns it 100%. That's the only thing that I can ever say positive about that boy down there in Dallas. I know I'm not wrong on this take. Vive la France. Parlez-vous français? Oui, oui. That's all I know French-wise. Franchise like the Rays threatened St. Pete. Yeah, aren't the Rays playing at they didn't choose the Phillies stadium. They're playing somewhere else down there, right? We finally leave. Your political career is over. Yeah. It's not off topic because it might be political, but it's 100% Philly sports. Absolutely. Hey, I don't want a stadium down. I like that the stadiums are right off of 95. Work on the infrastructure to get traffic flow better in the stadium complex. Keep all the stadiums together. I like that. Easy access from 95 and 76. Plus, you still got SEPTA and other access there as well. Just make the traffic patterns a little bit better. Do that. Don't move the stadium in the city. I just hate it. Hate it so much that I don't even want to talk. Like, I don't know what annoys me more. The fact that the city's going to give millions of dollars of our money to build a stadium that we don't want, or the fact that Joel Embiid doesn't play. What annoys me more? I don't know. But can we get back to the Eagles? Can we get back to this Eagles game this week? Can we get back to something that's actually positive talk? We can talk Phillies not making any moves yet. Can we get off the Sixers? It also works to support live and live casino. Yes, absolutely it does. If the fan tax dollars are going to be used to build their stadiums, then we should be able to vote and own out an owner of the city. Well, if you had to vote an owner out of the city, I'm pretty sure Josh Harris would be that owner that we'd want out of the city first, right? I believe somebody else. Didn't I see a rumor? It didn't get much publicity. Didn't somebody else sell their stake of the Sixers recently? So Michael Rubin did already, and somebody else did. Now it's time for Josh Harris to sell his portion of the Sixers. I'd be extremely happy with that. There's always the possibility the Sixers move to Camden. Be a lot easier for me, maybe a tad more dangerous, though. Yeah. I still remember the first time I went to the Camden waterfront for a concert. Before GPSs. It was like 96, and I got lost in a back alley in Camden. I'm like, shit, I'm dead. Bro, I love where the stadiums are set in Philly. A lot of people do. But it's a money grab. It's 100% a money grab. You build a new stadium downtown, you can sell more luxury boxes, and courtside prices could just go up. All the dollar things go up. If our tax dollars are being used for building the stadium, we need to split the parking and concessions 50-50 so we get something back into our... Absolutely. Basically. I still remember it to the day. I don't remember. It was probably, 96. Back then, it was probably a Dave Matthews concert that I went to. And I got random memories that stick, that aren't in the recessed parts of my brain, that are still in the forefront. And I remember I got lost we left the concert. We're late. We might have underage done a few things that we shouldn't have done that night. And partaked in a few adult activities, and driving through the streets of Camden, trying to get back over the bridge. And all of a sudden, me and my boy look, I'm like, dude, this is a dead end alley I just turned down. Where do I go? And I'm like, shit, I'm going to die. We're all going to die. I got us out of there. Obviously, we didn't die. I'm right here. Unless I'm just a figment of your imagination right now. I'm pulling out, like, I worked at a pizza shop, and I pulled out, like, the delivery book. I'm like, does this have Jersey on it? Like the book, big map book, and I'm trying to find where we're at. Because in 96, there was no GPS. I don't even know if MapQuest was a thing yet. You had to find the street address, and then go to the page number and hit the intersection to find it. And then you had to draw your finger across the map to figure out where you're going. People don't understand the struggles of trying to get around places before the internet. I'm not saying what I did that night. I would never tell. The link, we get nothing. It all goes to the Eagles. They still charge Temple $1 million a year to use it. They shouldn't charge them anything other than insurance costs for the events. Agreed. 3, 2. It didn't come. He must not be watching right now. Philly did, yeah. How did we survive without GPS back then? You know how we survived? With our brains. It was pretty easy. We were trained to survive like that. How are you a man at your age and not able to read a... I could. I just didn't. You go to a Dave Matthews concert. You know what goes on at Dave Matthews concert stuff. And you're 16, and you leave the concert. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And you just figure, I got this. I remember where I came from, and I didn't have a map. out at the time and just kind of wung it. And there I am in a back alleyway, one-way alley. I literally turned around that alley and drove the wrong way down that alley. I'm like, I ain't going anywhere further. I don't remember who was with me that night. Who was with me? I was 96-ish, 97 maybe. I was 16, so I was driving, so that'd be actually 97. That would have been during my days working at Friendlies. So it was probably guys like, it was probably Tim and Scott. It was probably, who else was in that core group of people? What were those two girls' names? I forget. Trying to remember who I worked with back then. Drugs at DMB. I thought they liked the crap music. There's nothing like a certain thing and some Dave Matthews jams going on in the background. I was able to read a map in the freaking woods with a compass drunk off my behind. Good for you, okay? I was not, okay? I knew how to read it. I delivered pizzas. That was just from the Boy Scout. See, I didn't do Boy Scout training. Did you get Hunky Lips spray painted on your car? I did not. What was I driving in 96, 97? That was probably when I was driving that ugly-ass maroon four-door Plymouth Acclaim. Okay, my first car was an 83 Buick Century, two-door that I smashed up. And then I got a beat-up Plymouth Acclaim as my next car. That was probably that, because I didn't get the Saturn, the generic Saturn, until I got to college in 99. No, I left Holy Cross, the Holy Cross region when I was like 14. The days working at Friendlies were some of the craziest memories I have, just so you know, Joe. I worked for about 2 years in the kitchen of a Friendlies, became a manager of a Friendlies for a little while, and some of us crews still talk to this day. I grew up as a person. I worked at a pizza shop first, and then I moved to the Friendlies. Then I went back to the pizza shop. But I grew up and became a man at the Friendlies. We'll just say that. It was funny the first time and the second time, not the third time. The upside down Sunday and chicken licking. The worst part about Friendlies was the liver and onions and slapping that on the griddle and watching the grease come out of it. The Sixers franchise is valued at $4.6 billion. A stadium in Center City would double its valuation, which means they would be able to pay a higher property tax, and the city would get a WNBA team. The Sixers Philadelphia does deserve a WNBA team, for sure. On a side note, Toronto's getting the next WNBA team, the Toronto Tempo. For Phillies fans out there, go look at the Toronto Tempo logo and their colors. They're using maroon and powder blue. Eerily, just slightly tweaked, but eerily similar to our Philadelphia Phillies, just so you know. See, I know everything. We don't just cover the Eagles here. I'm literally covering WNBA content on this show. We cover it all on this show, Trending in the AM. Big Dom is the greatest Italian mobster to play college football. Somebody offered Big Dom a major motion picture on his story, and he turned it down. There's something sneaky he's hiding that he doesn't want Hollywood to know about Big Dom. And I'm glad. Because while we talk about the Kelce's being overexposed, Jason Kelce being overexposed, Big Dom was starting to get there. But him hearing that he turned down the major motion picture about his story, it's good. That's good. That's what I want to hear. All right, let's get back to Eagles, guys. We haven't done enough predictions. A few of you have given your predictions on the Eagles game. How do I see the play? How do I see the game script coming out? Eagles versus Panthers on Sunday. Still a 1 o'clock game. I do see the Eagles winning this game. And I did want to predict, and those of you that are the statisticians and the brains in the chat, when was the last time the Eagles won a game via shutout? So I really wanted to predict an Eagles shutout. I did not, and I'm not going to predict an Eagles shutout. But the first score I wrote down out of the 4 that I wrote down was 30-0 Eagles. And I knew it was very unrealistic because predicting a shutout, it happens very rarely in the NFL in general, not just for the Eagles. But I really wanted to predict an Eagles shutout because I do think the Eagles are going to come out fast and furious and take an early lead and really put the pedal to the metal and just pretty much dominate. The Panthers are better. They're 2-2. They've almost won 2 other games lately. Whatever. I kind of feel like the Panthers gave it their best shot, showed they got something, and now I feel like they're back to just being the Panthers. Now it's back to looking for that number 1 overall pick. The last shutout by the Eagles was December 30th, 2018. Thanks for the quick research there on that one. I appreciate it. That's how rare it is to get a shutout. That's why, even though I wrote it down 30-0, it's just so rare that it happens that it's hard to predict. Stevie Fuentes says 34-24 Eagles win. That would be tough. That means it's a lot closer than I want it to be. I don't like that idea there, Stevie. Then we hand it over to the team, and they get the benefits to borrow off the valuation, which is how they work it. Of course, the Eagles will come out fast and furious. It's about family. Everything's about family. The Core 12 is about family, right? Phil picks. I don't do picks every single show anymore, just because I'm so goddamn bad at picks. I've been really bad this year at picks, basically, so I kind of quit about like 4 weeks ago doing that, just so you know. It's not quality content, but let me look around. Jags, Titans, terrible football game. Jets, Dolphins, terrible football game. Falcons, Vikings, okay football game. Saints, Giants, terrible football game. Eagles, Panthers, terrible football game. Browns, Steelers, terrible football game. Damn, there are a lot of bad football games on the schedule this week. Raiders, Bucks, terrible football game. Seattle Cardinals, that might be the best game so far. Bills, Rams. All right, so there's 2 good games this weekend. Bears, 49ers, terrible. Chargers, Chiefs, terrible. Bengals, Cowboys, dude, literally every single game on the docket this week is a terrible football game. Insane. Joe says 38-14. I like that score. I like a 18 to 25 point victory for the Eagles this week. Literally. I might actually buy bone extra points when I place a bet on the game this weekend. I might take it from 12.5 to 14.5 or 15.5. I really am that confident in this game. Bills number 1 beat Chiefs. You try to get out of picks, but you keep. Once I think I'm out, you pull me back in. That's what we do, right? That's what it is, right? Lions, 2 hard wins. Vikings, Packers, absolutely. Bills should beat the Chiefs except for the ref preference. Yeah, exactly. Hold on. Let me get back to that game there. Well, Bills don't play the Chiefs this week, but yeah. Bills play the Rams this week. Okay. Panthers have been giving teams a run for their money. They have. And I've addressed that, and I've admitted that, and I understand that, Steve. But this is the Eagles, okay? Totally different team. This isn't the Buccaneers. This ain't the Chiefs. This is the Eagles. And Jalen Carter, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Nick Sirianni, Vic Fangio, and others, Cooper DeJean, they will not allow the Eagles to have a letdown. And a letdown isn't losing the game. A letdown is winning by 7 or 10. The Eagles are going to be focused 120% right from the get-go on Sunday. And we are going to put this team away quickly because this team needs to win quickly and dominate early so we can do what we really need to do, which is old school load management, which is go ahead and rest guys. So they need to do that. I wrote down 4 scores. 30-0 was one of them. 37-17 was another one. Not the scores I predicted, though. Power 3, Chiefs, hard win, Ravens, what? Power 4, Eagles, 1, hard win, Ravens, what? I don't know what you're talking about half the time. Should Steelers be 4, Phil, hard wins, what? Steelers be 4, Phil, hard wins? I don't know what you're talking about. I really am not sure what that is. So the other scores I wrote down were 30-0, 31-9, 37-17. They got pushed off. I am going with an Eagles 31-13 victory. That's 3 scoring drives for the Panthers, 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. I think it'll be 31-6 entering the 4th quarter, and they will give up 1 touchdown to the Panthers in the 4th quarter while most of the starters are not playing. That is how I see this game playing out. The goal is to stay healthy. Now, here's something I'm curious. He's going to play this week, Darius Slay. He's going to play this week, Devontae Smith. If you were the Eagles and you were as confident as I am in their performance or potential performance this week, would it be smart to sit Darius Slay and Devontae Smith 1 more week? We don't need Darius Slay and Devontae Smith to beat the Panthers. We don't. We need them to beat the Steelers next week. We don't need them this week. I would seriously seriously consider giving both those guys a hamstring and a concussion. Darius Slay's not just dealing with the concussion. He's been banged up all year. I would seriously consider resting those two players one more game. And that means next week for the Steelers, they're 100%. Jalen Hurts is 9th in dropback EPA this year, and Bryce Young is 28th. Eagles should win this game easily. 31-13, and it's not even that close, is the way I got it. Are the Sixers borrowing from a Philly bank? Seems more like the city can use the Sixers as collateral. What's the percentage of the sale of the franchise that the city gets? I don't know any of that. Power rankings with strength of schedule and wins factored in. Steelers beat two more hard teams than the Eagles, who only beat the Commanders and Ravens. Gotcha. We also beat the Packers, by the way. That was a pretty tough win. Just so you know. Anyway, final thoughts. We're 15 minutes left in the show. I feel like the momentum is waning today. I don't feel like we've gained any new massive amount of subscribers or followers today. The excitement level for this game is at a low because it's just such a boring game. The Phillies haven't done anything. The Sixers are dreadful. The Flyers are the Flyers. Kind of feel like the juice is gone. We literally only gained one subscriber today. That's pathetic. Even though two people voted, just did. It means that one of you suckers did that. Hey, even one subscriber, K1, it's progress. It's progress. Every step forward is progress. That's all I want is progress every day. Skinny Joey says that he's never done anything illegal and he doesn't know what the FBI is investigating. Big Dom is clean as a whistle, right? You beat Packers, that's huge. Exactly. It definitely rests Smitty. Jalen needs to learn to trust Dotson. It's not always about being comfortable. We need to know what we have. Absolutely. That's a fair point as well, Eric, for sure. They got nothing from partial sales, all the company, because it's internal dependent. Way too much sale knowledge there. The game of life is not linear. Wow, we're getting deep with comments here. There, Nooms. That's a deep comment right there. Anyway, guys, it's time. I got to get ready to get moving here. So we're going to start the wrap-up process. As the pizza's neat made today, I do have a couple big orders to start the day today. They would use private equity. I don't understand all this stuff. I don't understand any of it, honestly. But with that being said, guys, it's time to start this process of wrapping the show up. So Eagles, 31-13. If I am off on Sunday morning, which is still debatable at this moment, I will go live and do a little pregame show. If not, whatever. Do you make a chicken finger pizza? It's not on the menu, but I have pizza, and I have chicken fingers. So if you want a chicken finger pizza, sure. I had someone like a year ago request a honey mustard chicken pizza. Honey mustard, chicken fingers, cheese, banging. Sure, absolutely, 100%. Panthers are kittens. That's right. I like that. I'd also do three-headed monster run attack to close the season, keep Barkley fresh. Exactly. Barkley doesn't want the record. Barkley wants a Super Bowl. That is the goal. The ultimate goal is the Super Bowl. So Barkley don't care about records. Barkley wants to win. He don't want records. He don't want awards. He wants to win. Ultimate team player. And that is why the Eagles will not have a letdown on Sunday and let this be close. I want the record for Barkley. You know, so WIP had a thing going on yesterday. I guess supposedly, according to social media, they were talking about, do the fans want him to get the record? And more often than not, the fans supposedly want the record. Well, the fans are wrong. No offense. I want a Super Bowl. Barkley wants a Super Bowl. That's more important than any records. The fans that want Saquon Barkley to push it to get the record are going to be the same fans that are complaining that they overused him when he gets banged up in game 18 or week 18 trying to get the record in a meaningless football game. They'll be the same ones complaining. I do not do shrimp on a pizza. I don't have any shrimp in the pizza shop. I could do a Chipotle pizza of some kind. No Thanksgiving pizza. Throw the leftovers out. Okay, we just throw all our leftovers out. 36 West, Staley, and Buck. A great comment. Corral Buckholder. There's a name right there. I'll do you one better. How about Flash and Lightning? How about Charlie Garner and Vaughn Hebron? That duo right there. We get the record next year. I don't want records. I care less about records. Yeah, exactly. Vikings solid 6 defeats the Texans stink. Packers. Gotcha. You put the Packers on the Vikings, but you don't put it on the Eagles. Gotcha. All right, guys. It's time to say goodbye. If I don't see you guys this weekend, we'll see you on Monday. Next week's a big week. It's birthday week of shows for me next week. So, guys, like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching this on replay, I will see your comments. Make sure you put your comments in there. I want Barkley get all his flowers. I want him to get his flowers too. But there's things more important than flowers, okay? And that's Super Bowls. And that's what matters. That's what matters most. It really is. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to end it right there. Go Birds. Win this game 31-13. Oh, there are a few more last-second comments. 1 p.m. Sunday, yes. If I could get to a pregame show, I will. No guarantees, though. That'll be a Sunday morning decision-making right there. Go Birds, guys. Bubbles up to y'all this weekend.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 pop.